Namaste. Emotions. Let me tell you something about emotions. You all definitely know there is no life without emotions. Emotions influence our thoughts, they influence our feelings, they influence our personality, our behavior, our moods, summing up to our character. In the mental and physical life, not physical, I would say in the mental life, emotions are who we are. It can make us or break us. It all depends how we manage our emotions. On its own, emotions is just a flow of thoughts. Thoughts and action are emotions. Created by our sensations and feelings and desires and wants. But they influence. They influence our thoughts to a great extent that they become so deep-rooted that instead of the head ruling the heart starts ruling the head. Meaning instead the head ruling the emotions starts ruling us. We become puppets of our emotions. So this is how emotions influence our mental life. And it is very important for us to understand and manage our emotions. It's very, very important because it is meant more for our physical, meaning our body and our mind, and the material life. Of course, for the spiritual, the emotion does not have much of a meaning, which I'll come to later. But for our mental life, it has a profound effect. The emotions emerge from a subconscious level. Subconscious meaning below conscious, meaning from the unconscious level. And as we know, our thoughts are 80% negative and 95% repetitive as per the National Foundation of Science. So we have to be very careful, otherwise our emotions can dip down into a negative effect very fast. And secondly, it's so frivolous. It constantly changes. You may be in love with a person for over 20, 30 years. You may be very emotionally in love with that person. But in an instant, in a week, in a day, in a flash, it can turn into hatred. So you need to be very cautious because they tend to overpower you. And subconscious, like I told you, is totally acting from a memory and an intellect where the conscious section is not involved. So what do we do? Vedas have a profound answer. Because in spiritualism, emotions are not that important. Sentiments are not that important. You do not need to be sensitive. Spirituality says you need to become sensitive to all is one. Emotions are for the select few. So, how do we manage our emotions? The spiritualism talks only about the spirit, and the spirit is absolute, in totality, wholesome, holistic. It only understands wholesomeness, whereas the mind is dual, relative to its opposite, love to hatred, God to devil, good to bad, negative to positive. So, it does not understand positive and negative. And that is why in the material life, anger can destroy you if you are not aware of your anger. Same is the case with fear. It can play havoc with your physical life, both anger and fear. Both are the top negative emotions. So, absoluteness, totality, purity, wholesomeness, God, reality, truth, love, they're all in spiritualism, and the subject of spiritualism is considered to be in the opposite, in the absolute, not in the opposites. They believe God to be that spiritual conscious energy. Every spiritualist will not consider a human God to be God, but would consider the supreme energy to be that God. Supreme aware energy, in formlessness, because in form you are separated. So that is how spiritualism goes from the personal emotions to the impersonal emotions, meaning from the sentimental to sensitivity, from separatism to oneness, And if one understands with clarity the subject of spiritualism, you need not go to any guru, preacher, motivational speaker, to anybody whatsoever. You just have to go inwards. You have to understand yourself. You have to understand that absolute spirit within you, which guides you, which checks your mind, the dual mind. So similarly, in the case of emotions, from compassion you have to consider dispassion. Dispassion means when you are sensitive to everyone, not for a select few. You are sensitive dispassionately, like Mahatma Gandhi was. Irrespective of whether you are a Muslim, Christian, Hindu or whatever, for him all were one. All religion were one. Dispassion is the answer. And the solution is how to be aware. So what do you do? Spiritually, you have to understand yourself. Second, when you look inwards, you observe and watch your emotions. Whether it's in anger, fear or love, just watch how it's flowing. Let it flow. Do not disturb that flow, just watch constantly, continuously, and you'll become aware of your emotions as to in which direction they're taking you. They're taking your mind. You will become cautious. You will know your thoughts. You will know your thoughts. And from the subconscious you enter into the conscious level. Because when you are alert, you become aware. When you are attentive, you become conscious. And when you are conscious, you become alive. Otherwise, you are ignorant. So please allow your emotions to flow the way they are flowing. Don't let them overpower just a flow of energy, it's a flow of your feelings, intense feelings. But do not let it affect your behavior, your personality. Be aware of your emotions. Thank you. Namaste.